All right, today we're going to dive into a feature for Amazon Bedrock that is a total game changer. Seriously, it's going to completely transform how your apps work with memory. We're talking about real-time memory streaming.
So, if you're a developer, you know this feeling, right? You build an application and it needs the absolute latest information. And you find yourself stuck in this loop, just constantly pinging an API, asking, hey, has anything changed? How about now? Anything new yet? It's just so tedious and really inefficient.
And that whole cycle, well, it's got a name. It's called polling. And yeah, for years, it's been the go-to way to check for updates. But honestly, it comes with some pretty serious downsides.
I mean, think about it like you're waiting for a package to be delivered. Polling is basically the same as hitting the refresh button on the tracking page every 30 seconds. And what happens most of the time? Nothing. You just get the same old answer, still in transit. So you're wasting your own time, you're creating a ton of useless traffic for the server, and here's the kicker. Even when the status finally changes, you only find out on your next refresh. You're always just a little bit behind, always playing catch-up.
But what if we could flip that script entirely? What if instead of you constantly having to ask, the data could just tell you the moment something changed? Well, that is the core idea behind real-time streaming in Bedrock.
So here's the magic. Memory record streaming completely flips the model on its head. It's a feature that actively pushes notifications to you through a service called Kinesis data streams the very instant a memory record changes. So, no more asking, just receiving.
And this, right here, just lays it all out perfectly. On the left, you've got the old way. You're constantly pulling data. It's inefficient, and you're always a step behind. But on the right, you've got the new way. The system pushes updates to you instantly. It's super efficient, it's event-driven, and it lets your applications react in true real time. It's the difference between hammering refresh on that tracking page and just getting a text message the second your package hits your doorstep. So how does this logic actually work under the hood? It sounds great, but let's dig into the mechanics of how these push-based events really function. So the heart of the system is that fundamental shift from pull to push. When something happens to a memory record in Bedrock, it doesn't just sit there, waiting for you to find it. Nope. It immediately creates an event notification and publishes it to a Kinesis data stream that you, and this is important, that you control in your own AWS account. Now, what's really cool about this is just how specific these events are. You get a memory record created event, whether a record gets made from a direct API call or from some automatic behind-the-scenes memory consolidation. You'll see a memory record updated for any modifications and memory record deleted when something's removed or deduplicated. You know exactly what happened. No guesswork involved. And the notification itself, it's packed with useful stuff. It tells you exactly what happened, which specific record was affected, precisely when it all went down, and this is a big one. It can optionally include the full text of the memory record, so you can have all the information you need in one single neat little package. All right, so we've covered the what and the why. Now let's get into the how. Here's a quick look at what the setup process actually looks like. Don't worry, it's a pretty straightforward 5-step process. First, you set up the Kinesis data stream. That's basically the mailbox for your events. Second, you set up a consumer, maybe a Lambda function, to actually read the mail. Third, you create a security roles so Bedrock has permission to talk to Kinesis. Fourth, you create the memory itself and flip the switch to enable streaming. And finally, you get to see it all working when Bedrock sends a special streaming-enabled event right to your stream. Boom, you're live. Now, during that setup, you're going to make a pretty important choice. Do you want metadata-only events? These are like lightweight little pings that just tell you that something changed. Or do you want full content, which packs in the actual text of the memory record, the whole shebang? Your choice really just depends on your use case. Metadata only is perfect for simple triggers, but full content is the way to go when your next step needs that data immediately without having to make a second trip with another API call. Okay, so you get this all set up. Now for the fun part. What can you actually do with it? This is where things get really, really powerful. Well, you can build these incredible, truly event-driven systems that react on the fly. I mean, imagine triggering a whole workflow the instant a new insight gets pulled from a conversation. Or you could stream all this memory data into a data lake for long-term analysis. Or how about managing and combining user profiles across different sessions in real time? The possibilities here are just huge.
And look, because this is an enterprise-grade AWS service, you're not flying blind. Of course not. It's fully baked into CloudWatch, so you get all the detailed metrics and logs you need to keep an eye on the health and performance of your data stream.
So you can easily track key stuff, right? Stream publishing success gives you the green light that events are flowing smoothly. Stream publishing failure is your red flag for system issues. And stream user error helps you quickly spot problems on your end, maybe like a permissions mix-up. It just gives you all the visibility you need to run this in production with total confidence.
So the real takeaway is this. The days of constantly pulling your data and always being one step behind, they're over. With memory record streaming, your data is now an active participant. It's talking to you. It can tell you what's happening as it happens. So the only question left is, are you ready to build applications that can truly listen?